All right, boys and girls, we're gonna build our wire sculpture, and to start, we're starting with a piece of wire, and I want to fold it in half to make both sides equal. It's almost like an upside down letter U. Then I want to make a circle approximately the size of a quarter the coin. So I'm gonna pinch the top of the wire to make a loop. Then I'm going to twist it like it's a key. What that does is it creates a head, that circle shape, and the twist turns into the neck. Now I have two separate pieces of wire. I want to use this one for one arm and that for the other. We learned that arms are approximately 2 heads long, so I'm going to pinch the head, boop, measure 1, 2, about to there. I'm turning it in on top of itself, and then I'm taking this side and I'm twisting it, just as if it were a key. Now, the tricky part is you need to switch wires before you do the other arm. A lot of times people will use the same wire and then they run out of one of the wires. So I need to switch to the other, measure, or I can just measure the size of that arm to make it equal since I already did the 2 heads. And twisting. Now I'm going to twist these 2 pieces of wire together to create a body. We learned that arms are longer than the body, so I'm going to let my arms be longer than the body when I set them down. All right, now it's time for legs. Legs and arms are approximately the same size, so I can measure the arm like that, bend it in on top of itself, and create a leg. Now these little loops at the end actually do a good job of turning into arms and legs. If you have any extra wire at the end, all you're gonna do is just wrap it around your guy. All right, so now I have a cool wire figure, and I'm going to pick his pose, what I want him to do, and use other materials. I think I would like mine to be, maybe some sort of dancer or someone who does yoga. I really like yoga, so I think I might make mine a yoga person. You can make yours however you like. So step 1 is just starting to bend. I'm bending at the elbows and creating a shape. I'm gonna do my arms like this, meeting in the center. And then these are like warrior 2 legs. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with my pose. Now it's time for accessories. The first thing I need is my base because I'm going to be attaching this. And I want to make a yoga mat. I think I want a green yoga mat. So I'm going to use this oil pastel to create what I want on my base. I can make it a yoga mat that has all kinds of designs on it. That might be fun. Adding as many colors as I like. Maybe yours is on a surfboard. Maybe you are drawing a football field. Maybe it's a soccer field. Maybe you're going to build net for soccer. Maybe yours is playing golf. It's whatever you want, but I will keep working on this. I won't do it all in front of you. Then I want to think about what my person needs. Well, I think I'm going to put some clothes on my person, maybe even like a cool skirt. That could be fun. Okay, so I have this tissue paper. You can use this to make clothes if you like. I'm gonna bend it, and I'm just kind of wrapping it and deciding on the way I like it to look. I can cut off any extra. Once I have it the way I like it, I'm gonna be using hot glue. Hot glue is hot. So when you use it, you have 2 choices. I have a couple that are plugged into the wall. You may walk over and very carefully use it. The thing is, if you get the hot glue on your finger, it's not gonna burn you terribly, but it's enough that you're gonna be like, ow, like I just got a little bit on my finger there. I'm not crying, but I definitely can feel it. Okay, so mine has a skirt, and then I can use other materials, maybe these pipe cleaners, to build a shirt. The pipe cleaners can be used in a lot of different ways, but if you're putting it on your person, a really good strategy is to wrap it. I'm wrapping it around to create clothing. Now the pipe cleaners are also really good for building sporting equipment. So for example, if you made a baseball player, this would be a really good thing to make a baseball bat with. If you made a soccer player, you could use the pipe cleaners to build a net, so you could make a soccer ball. There are a lot of different ways you can use this. All right, she's looking pretty cool. Maybe I'll even use the wire to build her some hair. I want to attach this on. Now, when I'm attaching wire, I can't just like lean it on. I need to tightly wrap. So what I'm doing is I'm wrapping that real tight around. And then I can loosely, ooh, I think I'm gonna make her have crazy hair for fun, because I like things that are a little bit crazy. So she has pink hair because why not? Ooh, I actually had a funny idea. I think these might turn into bunny ears. She's a bunny doing yoga. Maybe it's spring around Easter time. I don't know. That's kind of fun. Or it could be like pigtails. I'm not sure. If you have too much, feel free to give it a little cut and take off any extra. All right, mine's just about the right size. I don't even think I need to cut anything off. I'm actually thinking again about my bunny ears and think I don't like that idea. One of the things artists do is they kind of play around with ideas. Like you try something and then you're like, oh, that worked, or oh, that didn't work, and make adjustments. Really good artists make a lot of changes in their artwork. They very rarely do something one time and say, oh, good enough. All right, something else you have available to you is foil. Foil is really good for building items. So for example, like if I wanted to make a ball, this would be a really good way to make a ball. You can also use it for wrapping to create things. Maybe yours is an astronaut and you're building a suit for him, or a rocket. Adding as many cool details as you can think of. I'll work on mine for a minute and then show you when it's done. Mine isn't done, but I wanted to show you a strategy. I decided to change out my hair and I want to make a curl with my wire. So what I'm going to do is take a pencil and wrap it around kind of tightly. And it turns it into a coil. The wire kind of holds the shape, okay? So, like I said, I changed my mind about my hair, so I'm gonna use that coil technique now. I think that actually looks a little bit better. And like I said before, artists do these kinds of changes all the time. When you make a mistake and make adjustments, you're not telling me that you're not a good artist. You're telling me that actually you're a real artist who looks at their artwork and reflects and says, oh, that looks good, or oh, I want to make some changes. So that's something I wanted to be sure to show you, because I can think of a lot of different ways you could use that kind of coil. Okay, one other thing I wanted to show you is if you want to attach two pieces of wire, okay? There are a couple options. One option is to make a loop and twist it, and that kind of turns into a little hole that I will then put that one through and twist. So now I have a really long piece of wire, okay? So if I needed to attach those two. One other method is to line the two pieces together and twist. This kind of method will give you like a multi-color pipe cleaner, and then you can separate it and do what you like, or maybe you like that twist. I'll keep working on mine. All right, now I'm starting to feel happy with mine. So when you're ready and you want yours to be attached to the base, you're gonna put it in the pose and bring it to me. And what I'll do is take a stapler and put a staple in your poor person's feet to get them to stay. And then anything else, like for example, I made a couple of yoga blocks. Yoga blocks are kind of like tools you use when you're doing yoga, and I can't staple this down to my base. So what I'm gonna do is take the hot glue, and again, like I said, there are a couple hot glue guns plugged in. If you feel safe and comfortable using one, you can, or you can just wait and ask me for help. So my sculpture is finished. It's all about gesture and movement in art. My person is doing yoga. I need to make a couple of adjustments. And before we're all done, I'd like you to give it a title. A title is a name that people make for their artwork. So maybe mine is called Yoga, because yoga is what the person is doing. Zen. Zen means like really calm. Yoga, Zen, fun. And I can make little lines around it. Okay, so my artwork has a title. It shows movement and proportion. I used a lot of skills to make this art, and it's really fun, and I cannot wait to see yours. Yay!